what's your take on Stanley and his future, whether it's in Winnipeg or elsewhere, and what would his value be around the league, Frank? Because, while the on-ice results haven't quite been there, he does have a pretty tantalizing toolbox to certainly some GMs in the game.
Yeah, he really does. Look, I'll tell you this. The best way to describe the skill set, I would say, or toolbox is to just take a look at someone like Jordan Greenway, who was traded from to the Buffalo Sabres from the Minnesota Wild at the deadline. Jordan Greenway has 2 goals and 4 assists for 6 points this year. If he was 5'11", with 2 more years left on his contract at $3 million a year, we'd be talking about what the Minnesota Wild would have needed to pay to get off of Jordan Greenway's contract. Instead, because he's 6'6", there's a whole different slate of options that are open to him. And the Wild not only get off the contract, but they get a 2nd and a 5th round pick in return. And so that's sort of the neighborhood that I think Logan Stanley's living in at 6'6", is these guys that are big take a lot longer to develop and begin producing. And look, there's a wasteland of players that are of his size that have never amounted to anything. But there's also a whole crop of other players like a Jamie Alexiak, or go down the list of guys that have that frame that took Alexiak 8 years from his draft year to become a full-time bona fide NHL player. And I'm not saying it's going to happen with Stanley. All I'm saying is that it feels like, one, that is probably not going to happen in Winnipeg based on the way that this year has unfolded. And 2 is that he's one of those guys that is going to get himself ample extra opportunity when it's all said and done because of that frame that he has and because of that toolbox. So it's kind of a blessing and a curse for the Jets. The issue is that they have a piece that is still of value, and I believe that they were fielding calls on him. I don't think it's fair to say that he requested a trade, but to think that he's not open to the idea of playing more and getting more opportunity elsewhere, you'd be foolish to think that. So they didn't get something that they felt was of value in return for what they believe he still could be, but they also haven't done a very good job of unearthing it themselves.